In 1985, everyone was amazed by the first images of the Titanic at the bottom of the sea. They weren't very clear images, but you could see the ship in good condition, very different from today. That's why we, here at Brugger Filmes, decided to rebuild the submerged ship in artistic 3D. Let's drain all the water from the Titanic and reveal all the details hidden in the darkness of the ocean. We are going to piece together the wreckage to show exactly where the ship broke up, and we are going to try to understand what might have happened to the bodies of the passengers who went down with the ship. So, if you are not subscribed to the channel, subscribe and share our video with your friends. Efforts to locate and save the Titanic began almost immediately after it sank. The biggest problem was locating the Titanic, which is almost 4 kilometers deep. The descent to the wreck takes more than 2 hours with today's most modern submersibles. Robert Ballard led his first expedition to locate the Titanic in 1977, but it was not until 1985 that he was successful in his endeavor. The Titanic is now routinely explored, and thousands of artifacts have been recovered. The ship's wreckage is spread over 2 square miles. The stern hit the seabed at an estimated speed of 39 miles per hour. The impact shocked the entire structure 4 kilometers deep in a spiral path. The Titanic's second largest piece of debris at the bottom of the sea looks more like a mound of twisted and torn iron. Side propellers over 7 meters high are on display, and the hull armor has been twisted and broken. We can still see the engines from 12 meters high. Unlike the stern, the bow ran the entire course more smoothly due to the hydrodynamics of her nose, reaching an approximate speed of 37 miles per hour. Its structure weighs over 20,000 tons and was found in 1985 almost intact, preserving many details of the Titanic. A curiosity, Arthur Rostrom, the captain of the ship Carpathia, who rescued the survivors of the shipwreck, reported, "If you look it up in the dictionary, you will find Titans, a race that strives in vain to overcome the forces of nature. Could anything be more unfortunate or meaningful than that name?" The central part of the ship was only discovered with more recent surveys of the era of the wreck. Up until not long ago, it was not known of that block. This section is believed to be detached from the stern during descent to the bottom of the sea. In our third shipwreck animation, we showed that the ship suffered a third break. Let's leave the link in description. In a dark atmosphere with little visibility, the first expedition thus not was able to show all the details of the ship. So let's drain all the water and reveal the Titanic in broad daylight. Numerous details of the ship began to emerge. The deck where parents said goodbye for the last time of their children. The Mast da Gávea, the Mast da Gavea, where the lookout Frederick Fleet broke. The silence of the night when first sighted the iceberg. Gigantic walls of steel now emerge into the sky, and the Titanic receives light from the sun once more. And the mighty anchors, over 8 tons, are now out from the sea for the first time after more than 100 years. This is the drained wreck of the Titanic. The bomb now seen appears to be sailing in the mud. separating it as if it were the ocean. It is estimated that 10 meters are buried. A small building, hidden in the area of the seabed, is the scar of disaster, the mark of the blow-fatal accident that sank the most famous ship in the world. Let's show for the first time the wreckage of the Titanic, mounted on it totally, with all the surprising 3D details of the ship's structure shipwrecked, bow, stern, and the newly discovered section ship's central unit, which was assembled from the wreckage. The Titanic is now warms up in the heat of the sun once more. According to the National Administration Oceanic and Atmospheric of the States, the Titanic must sink to the bottom of the ocean in approximately 50 years. In 2.5 hours, it took the Titanic to sink. More than 700 people left with life in the lifeboats. But what happened to passengers who sunk with the ship? Will the world's most famous shipwreck yet hold passenger remains and crew at the bottom of the sea? The RMS Titanic says that human remains probably would have been noticed after 200 dives performed and complete. This company always treated the shipwreck as a place archaeological and a tomb with reverence and respect. There is an unwritten rule that if we see human remains, we turn off the cameras and decide what to do next. The people who are dragged along with Titanic, even if they were in closed rooms and still with oxygen, would not survive to the bottom of the sea. Those who didn't drown would suffer overwhelming water pressure. But where are the bodies? One theory would be sea creatures would have eaten the meat, and the bones dissolved because of the chemistry of seawater and large depth. So the remains of those who submerged the Titanic would probably have disappeared for decades. Somewhat mysterious and controversial is the discovery of whale bones found in similar depths and remains humans that were found in 2009 Air France plane that crashed in Atlantic. But some archaeologists say the mortal remains may still be there, in internal compartments. David Colin, head of Resource Center Submerged, said that more wreckage ancient that the Titanic contained remains of crew or passengers. The remains fatalities of 8 sailors were discovered 106 years after the small submarine H.L. Hunley sinks in 1864, and human bones from a Greek freighter who was shipwrecked near the Greek island of Peristera at the end of the 5th century before Christ were found in 1990. The water very deep, cold, and low in oxygen is an amazing preservative, said Colin. The human remains aboard the Titanic are in the interior spaces of more difficult access, where the preservation it will be tragic but spectacular. It is impressive to see pictures of boots and leftover clothes from people who were shipwrecked with the Titanic. Looks like they were abducted, without live mortal remains. And you, believe that may still contain bodies within the Titanic? Leave your comment, that we wanna know your opinion. Once again, here on the channel, we worked hard to deliver this 3D production of Titanic to you. We hope you enjoyed it. So don't forget to leave a like and help us by sharing our channel as your friends. Watch our other videos, which are very interesting. Also follow us on social media. Links are in the video description. A big hug and see you in the next production. See you later!